Hi everyone, this is Victoria Kennedy, medium clairvoyant from Los Angeles, California. And tonight's another episode of Rant and Rave. And I wanted to create Rant and Rave as a way to kind of express, daily emotions. It's unscripted. It's just whatever flows, whatever energy is coming through me at that moment in time. And lately I've had so much on my plate. Between clearings and readings and keeping up with my family and keeping up with my schoolwork and keeping up with work, and it is a lot, I can tell you. But I guess Spirit says, well, you can handle it, kid. That's what they call me as kids. So I go with it. I just say, okay, let's do it. A couple of nights ago, I was laying in bed and I wasn't able to sleep. My sleeping patterns have been really off lately. And I think because my mind is just going and going and going. And I know it's because of this class that I'm taking. So, I don't know if any of you ever heard of Dolores Cannon. I think I mentioned her once before on one of my Rant and Raves, maybe with the extraterrestrials. Dolores Cannon is this amazing, amazing teacher. She teaches about past life regressions and QHT hypnosis. And it's literally just a form of hypnosis, but you're working with a subconscious mind. This is an online class with Dolores Cannon doing the lecture. Now, Dolores Cannon, I want to say she's been gone maybe about for 10 years. But knowing that she is still able to have these classes and she's not even here any longer, in the physical realm, and she still has such an impact when people are taking her classes. It's truly amazing. So my mind is going and going and going. And like I said, I have my television on when I'm laying in bed. And I'm obsessed with Jackie and Shadow, which are the eagles that are in Big Bear. And I'm just looking, right? And I'm thinking to myself, we all have that consciousness within us. I'm sure you've heard the Christ consciousness. That's what we are. We have the Christ consciousness within us. Okay? And we share this one beautiful mind, which is the mind of God or of source. Whomever your higher power is, we're all energetically connected with that one mind. And I'm looking and I'm watching, the bald eagles, and I'm watching them as to how great they are taking care of their babies. And I was even thinking, I wish every human can do the exact same thing. Like they could do parenting 101 with us, with humans, right? But, I'm thinking, okay, well, we had that Christ consciousness dwell deep within us. What about, the animals? What about Jackie and Shadow? Do they have that? Do they, go to sleep or however it is that they sleep? Do they have their own conversations, their own talks with their Christ consciousness? Or is it just us? Is it humans? Do our dogs go to sleep when they're dreaming? Are they having that conversation with their Christ consciousness, which is going to be their higher power? And then, as I mentioned, that class with Dolores Cannon, it's all about working with the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, I have learned, and I've always known this, but I'm really going into more depth with this because of this class with Dolores Cannon that I'm taking. And at first, I really wasn't sure, why am I going to take this class, which I'm not a therapist, I'm not a hypnosis, I'm a medium, all right? But as a medium, I work cold cases and I work missing persons cases. And I do those as a way of giving back, right? Because you're born with this amazing gift and not everyone has it. A lot of people will say they have it. A lot of people will say they don't have it, and they do have it. You have a lot of people who will try to use it for very, very bad things. And you have other people who use it for very, very good things, which is what I do. Well, at least I hope that's the impression everyone has, because that's what I use it for. And then it dawned on me. Okay, I see the direction, right? I see the direction where you're kind of taking me. I get it. So when you're working with a subconscious mind, you're able to tap into other people's subconscious mind. So when I bring it downward and I look at it through a different angle, through a different perspective, when I'm trying to find a missing person, or if I'm working a cold case, then I'm able to tap into that person's subconscious mind. Before, what I would do is I would connect with that person energetically. They could be anywhere in the world. They could be in a third world country, but I'm able to still tap in to them energetically. And sometimes it's so simple. Other times you're just like, come on. But when you work with the subconscious mind, that's their higher power, and on a totally different level. And the subconscious mind, it will work with you as long as you have permission. So let me give you an example. Anytime I do a reading, the people are coming to me, so they're already automatically giving me that permission. If I am out and about and I'm somewhere and I see somebody and Spirit's like, hey, we have this message, please give it to them. Well, it's not that Spirit says please. It's more like do it, right? So when I walk up to a person and I ask them, can I give you a message? And they're like, sure. Other people are like, no. Other people are like, what are you talking about? Which I don't blame them. Somebody came up to me, had no idea who they were or what they were about. I'm like, bro, you need to keep walking. But people nowadays they want that message. They want that heartfelt message. They want to know that everything's going to be okay. And when you're working with that subconscious mind, it's such a strong energy force that the body literally is healed instantly. So the people who go in to get this done, which is QHT hypnosis, and they're going to be healed in some way. And then on another note, the people who are missing, the missing people, the ones who we have cold cases on, and like I said, I do that as a way of giving back. I do not charge the families for that whatsoever. But what I do charge the family for is any type of transportation cost. So if I have to go out to that location, if they want me to go out to that location, then I do charge them for that. I charge them for whatever travel expenses. And normally I kind of secure like a deposit. And, again, tapping into that subconscious mind where you're able to locate someone no matter where they're at. You're able to put somebody down in a state of hypnosis no matter where they're at. And you're able to help this person heal their physical body. Now, if any of you are ever on my lives, you hear me say time and time and time again, it's not me. Because it's not me. I don't have these magical powers. All that it is that I am completely open and receptive to my beautiful spirit family. And they are the ones who work through me. They are the ones who are doing the clearings. They're just working through me. They're the ones that are doing the readings. They're the ones who, they're the ones who do absolutely everything. I never take credit for it. Never. I remember one time I was working a cold case and we were able to solve it, and the person was just so thankful, and she kept telling me, thank you, Victoria, thank you. And I mean, obviously I'm going to say you're welcome, but I also had to remind her that it's not me. You have to remember that it's a spirit family from both sides. My spirit family and your spirit family, who come together and they work together and they try to work alongside you. Sometimes we're open to it, sometimes we're not. But anyhow, going back to the conscious mind. I mean, it's such a beautiful, beautiful mind. How a person who cannot walk goes under this hypnosis. They come out and they're able to walk. Someone could be dying of cancer, and when they leave, they're completely healed because there's no limitations with the subconscious mind. No limitations whatsoever. And the person really doesn't know it yet. Let's say like the person who has cancer, they really don't know it yet until they go and get their next scan or they get their next lab results, whatever it is. So, you kind of have to ask yourself at the same time, well, am I able to kind of tap into this? I want to be able to tap into this for myself. Well, I'm always extremely curious. So, last night I actually tried it. And, you kind of have to wonder, okay, well, am I speaking to the subconscious mind or am I speaking to the conscious mind? Now, the conscious mind is going to be the ego mind. You suck. You're ugly. You're not pretty. You can't. It's more of the negative side, right? So that's why on my lives or even in videos, I say, go with the first thing that comes into your mind and go with it. So if you say, well, should I get up and go today? Yes. Okay, go. Just get up and get ready and go. But then that's when that little subconscious, the conscious mind comes in and says, no, you don't want to go. You're lazy. You're not going to make it. That's where that self-doubt kind of comes into play. But the subconscious mind, it's more like, get up. What are you waiting for? Get your ass up, right? So, like I said, I went ahead and I tried it last night. And, people think that because I'm a medium, that I'm able to connect instantly. It's not like that. Sometimes I'm able to immediately go into that medium mode, and sometimes I'm not able to. And I know it's not my spirit family. I know it's me, because ultimately I'm here. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So I'm experiencing everything that we all experience, right? So I'm laying in bed. I put my headphones on, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to be able to use? So I put like this wind chime things on, and it's just different style of wind chimes that you hear. Super, super relaxing. And I have my headphones on. So I ask, can I connect with my subconscious mind? And I immediately heard yes. I'm like, perfect. So whatever sounds come in after that, I just kind of push them away. And immediately I am taken to this beach area. There's like this one crooked palm tree that gives you some shade, and all the sand was like white sand, like white, right? And the water was so blue. And I remember I am walking with my, I'm going to have to say that I was walking with my higher power, with God. And next thing I know, I see one of my guides. Now, I have many guides. We all have many guides. Each guide for me is here to lead me into a different purpose within my life, or to help me within my life, depending on what it is that I am doing. I have a guide that helps me when I'm working missing persons files. I have a guide that helps me when I'm working cold cases. I have a different guide when I'm doing readings, a different guide when I'm doing clearings. But ultimately, they're all here working with you, right? It's just you have a guide who this is his forte, I guess we can say, and he'll step in a little bit stronger than others when it comes to certain things that I need to do. And I just remember in the distance, I see one of my other guides, and it was as if I was a child. And I remember I got so excited. I ran up to him, I gave him a hug, And I just had all these questions. And we stop and we look at the water. Now, water to me is extremely soothing. I love going to the beach. I just don't love California beaches because you never ever know what you're going to be stepping on. Am I stepping on a fish? Am I stepping on a body? Am I stepping on a body part? We have to admit it. Our beaches here are not the cleanest. So I just remember my guide telling me the water is very warm. And even I was dressed all in white. And my guide was dressed in white too. And he tells me, well, he's not telling me, but he's like directing me. I remember I went inside of the water and it was so blue, like crystal clear blue. So just imagine having a blue marble and pointing that blue marble up to the sun and how clear that marble looks and appears. That's exactly how the water was. And I remember I kind of start running in the water. And next thing I know, I see a white horse. Now, I love horses. I know absolutely nothing about horses, but horses to me are so magical. And I can't see all of the horse. I literally just see the head and where the hair kind of falls down, I guess, from like their neck. Like I said, I know nothing about horses. And that's all I remember. And I woke up this morning. I felt so revived. I felt so alive, which I always feel alive, but it was definitely was a different feeling this morning. And I literally slept so good. So good. So I was wondering, I wonder if I unknowingly was able to conquer that challenge of me being able to speak with my own subconscious mind. I would like to say yes, but I really don't know because I don't remember anything. And that's the beautiful thing about this. You can try things and you don't remember, but subconsciously and even consciously, somehow, some way, you'll just know. Everything will just flow. It's like the rhythm of the beat, right? It will just flow. The tempo is ongoing. And then, like I said, I always have questions. And then you kind of have to stop and ask yourself, okay, well, I wonder if the subconscious mind will also stop the karmic wheel. Because we all have karma. Every single one of us. We have, there's karmic with our parents. There's karmic with our relatives, with our siblings, even with our friends. I mean, we ask ourselves, I wonder why I have the parents that I do. But it's us who chooses our parents. And we have to ask ourselves, okay, well, why did I choose my parents? What have I learned? So I've already knew since I was so little that my main purpose here was to help people. I've always known that, right? So, ever since I was little, I've been giving messages. I just obviously wasn't doing it in the proper format, but how was I supposed to know? I was so little, right? And then as you get older, you start to question things. Why did I choose my parents? Or I wonder why they're my parents. Well, fact of the matter is that they're your parents because you chose them. And that's where the karmic wheel comes into play. What have you learned from your parents? I know consciously, when I look back at my life, when it comes to my parents, my father, he was a chronic alcoholic. So my takeaways from him was A, I don't drink. B, when people drink and they act dumb, it annoys me. 3, I'm not verbally or physically abusive. And 4, any fears that I have learned how to conquer and to move on. then I kind of go back to my mom. Okay, what did I learn? And I learned, what did I learn? I'm asking myself again, what did I learn? Did I learn anything? Absolutely. I learned how to raise my child differently than how she raised us. Now, I can't really say she was a bad mom because she had so many kids and it was just her because of her deadbeat husband. And she had a lot of emotional problems because of that, because she never dealt with things that he actually did to her. And he was alcoholic, so mentally and physically abusive he was to her. But when you kind of think back to it on a subconscious level, can all that be healed? Can that karmic wheel be broken? Absolutely it can. And a lot of times, any type of karma that you have with your parents, once you leave the house, it's like automatically just dissolved. Right? So I know that my mom and I, we just do not get along. We don't see eye to eye. But she's still my mom, and I'm here for whenever she needs something. But, I kind of asked myself, I wonder on a subconscious level if she would be able to be healed from that. Or is she going to go into her next life with all these issues that she's never dealt with in this world? Is she going to leave here still having to pick up the pieces in her next life? So, kind of going back to the subconscious, I mean, your subconscious knows absolutely everything about you, and it holds the books from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It will tell you why you're sick. How can this happen? Why did you have cancer? How did you get cancer? Is this something you're bringing in from your past life? Have you not learned how to let go? And a lot of times when people have cancer, it's because they are holding on to things, right? They don't want to let things go. That's why I always say you have to get rid of your shit. You just have to let it go because it's not worth it. You have to figure out a way how you're going to be able to dissolve that hurt, that anger within your own physical being. And that could be by journaling. It could be by, doing something physical on a good note though. Going to kickboxing, doing karate, running, painting, singing, doing something and, on a creative side. But somehow, some way, you have to be able to learn how to let that go from your subconscious self. I was listening to a past life regression, and this one lady, she was, I want to say it was like the 1800s in Italy. And it was her 2 children, her husband, and her mother-in-law, which was obviously her husband's mom. She was saying how her mom was, her mother-in-law, they really didn't see eye to eye that well together. And then her child, a boy of hers, died. And the husband pretty much dealt with it. He just took the body. I don't know what he did with the body. And she stood home because she had to make sure that her husband had dinner. She was not vocal whatsoever. There was another scene in that past life regression where she had to go and watch somebody, I think they were hanging him because he had books. Remember, knowledge is always power. Always, always, always. And they ended up they ended up burning him with his books. And she even said during her past life regression, I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to be there. But if you're not there, then you're going to be the next person. So you kind of have to comply with it. And then the next thing, she's talking about her death and how her husband, after she died, was so mad. He was mad at her. He was just mad at everything. And it was asked of her subconscious, why did she experience that? What did she have to learn from that? And 2 things came out. She needed to learn how to use her voice. We have a voice, and it's so important that we put it to use for good. But she was also it was also said that she also needed to learn humility. Okay, which I feel that she did, just by listening to the story in her past life regression. But I also know that she did not use her voice. So, because karma is involved, she came back into this life with the same husband. And now she is more vocal in this life and has a horrific marriage. It's not a good marriage. So it just kind of shows that wheel, right? Kind of learning within your own subconscious the importance of being able to kind of tap into that. And you can do it easily with meditations. You won't be able to 100% be able to tap in, but if you're able to go into a light trance, which is a form of meditation, then you can begin talking to your own subconscious. And it just does, I cannot even begin to explain. But the feeling that you will feel is going to be much different. And that's the place where you want to go to heal yourself from all wounds, from all hurt. And so that way you can go and live a productive life. You know, I know that there's people who have been physically assaulted. People have been abused mentally, physically, sexually. And this damages you. It truly, truly does. I have friends who have been sexually abused and they have never dealt with it. And it's so important that they do. Because remember, when you don't allow yourself to have those emotional breaks, that, being able to kind of express yourself, you're going to begin to develop physical symptoms. But what's so ironic is that if you were to go in under hypnosis with a QHT session, all that literally is healed. It's miraculous what your subconscious mind does. You know, like I said, I'm taking the class and I already have, people lined up because I have to be able to do 25 of them. And, technically I have to do 10. And then after 10, then I become a practitioner. And I have to do 15 more. And I want to continue on with this class with I want to do the level 2 and the level 3. But just think, people have been living in torment for so long. And, there's different type of torments. There's a torment where maybe you have bad entities inside of your home. Maybe you have an attachment. That's a totally different type of a torment. Maybe you've been, maybe you have, you're being physically or emotionally abused. And you just don't have to be physically and emotionally abused by your husband or by your wife, but that can happen to you from your children, from your parents, from your siblings, to even your friends. And like I said, you have to be able to learn how to express yourself so you don't get caught up in that, and use your voice. The number one way to get rid of a bully is to stand up to a bully, right? We all know that. You stand up to a bully, the bully's going to back down. The bully gets beat up, the bully's going to back down, right? So when you begin to conquer your fears, when you begin to say enough's enough, when you begin to utilize your voice, it's such a beautiful thing. It truly is. And unfortunately, nowadays, I'm going to say, as of recent, especially with women, our voices are trying to be silenced. But we can't allow that because we have a voice. And that is why we have a voice, so we can utilize that. So we can speak our power. We can speak our worth. And when you begin to do that, you will even feel the changes within your own subconscious mind. Instantly. That's exactly what I heard right now. Instantly. Because you are starting to believe in yourself. So, it's an amazing, amazing, amazing class. And I cannot wait to go further into the class. So if any of you live out here in the Los Angeles, Orange County area and you want to be one of my volunteers, let me know. You can shoot me an email, or you can send me a message on Instagram Facebook. I mean, I swear I'm just about everywhere. You can go ahead and send me a message, and I definitely will get you scheduled. I think I'm going to start doing my my sessions probably next month, depending how far I get into the class. But I'm trying to be done by Mother's Day. That's definitely what I'm trying to do. So again, if you're interested, let me know. Such a beautiful, beautiful, and a powerful experience. And I know that you will not regret it. Being able to work with the subconscious mind. Not a lot of people can do it, and I'm just blessed, and I'm grateful that I've been able to find this class. So, all right, everyone. I think I've done my rant and rave long enough. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to talk about a certain topic, maybe you want to do a rant and rave, just kind of send over your topic, and I'll get on my soapbox. I can't talk today, and we'll make it happen. All right, everyone, stay well and stay blessed.